So, I've been asked to show off my Dark Angels force, and this is what I've got as of 2022 in July. Basically, my force is the whole 6 wings of the Hexagrammaton. So this is basically just me showing off all the minis that I've converted, so collected, and this is not finished. This is just basically my new force that I've decided to do, some of which I've already put on the channel already, and a lot of them I have not. Let's start with the biggest things, which is knights and whatnot. My Warhound, Aptos, a knight, and 2 armigers. These were quite fun to do. The hands are the hardest bit to find, but made them look like they extend back and forth, kind of like the dreadnoughts of the Liberian ones that you can get for Blood Angels. I just mounted both the guns and put some brass tubing over them just to make them look a little different. The melter guns on these are just with the hand there, so it actually looks like it pushes the melter gun straight into the target rather than just have it sat on top. Just added the usual Dark Angel-esque stuff. As for the knight, well, I went for cut a part of his face off and stuck in a nice camera just to make it look a little different to the usual one. Then I got a nice sword I made up from bits and bobs. It's been sat in my bits box for a while. It was meant to be on my Chaplain dreadnought. I had to make a fist to go with it. That was amusing. Made that from some odds and ends I found in the box as well. The cannon off a Bane blade though, to replace the old cannon, made it look a lot more meatier. Good old book. Angel and sword as usual. Also, I changed the position of the legs on this. I don't like the static pose on the legs, so I straightened out the legs and changed it so it was more walking forward rather than holding that brace stance it normally does. A little angel on top of the battle cannon there as well. Aptos, Forge World Knight. And this was quite funny. The actual head. Oh, hold on. Yeah. So the actual head is off one of those statues from one of the it's off a statue for one of the big city kits and all the rest of it. I've added quite a few little skulls here and there. Also Black Templars for this skeleton on the top. Sword from the I think that's just a normal Dark Angel sword. I just took the wings off it. It was a very nice kit, this one, to build, because it, didn't want to do too much to it because I do like this kit. And anyone that's seen my videos knows all about my Warhound. So there's some better videos of that on my channel, but plenty of heraldry and work on this being done. I say a lot of these transfers and whatnot. You can see all that on other videos I've made. As for the head, I added magnets everywhere. So I've got these little things. I also shown on the video how I made these. Basically, these are for the guns and the heads, so you can basically move the head a bit. The cables will actually allow the head a little movement as well, and the ones that are on the gun will allow a lot more movement as well, back and forth. But yeah, so you can move them side to side. All it is a spring and magnets. I got a good video on how to do this, so I've been asked a few times if you need the magnet sizes and all the rest of it. I've got that in the comments somewhere. There's always people asking about that one, which is no problem. I just think I forgot to actually put it on the video. But yeah. Oh yeah. And one thing I never go on about is my crush tank, where I actually used a vice to crush this Lehman Russ. I added reeds inside it and mold and moss, rust. Yeah, I did like doing that. So Sat9 with my Proteus Land Raider, some knights over in the corner here. Then I've got normal normal Deathwing squad, then command squad, Chaplain, and this captain. This is made from the Forge World kit, but I actually made him more taller. You're going to find this theme so much in my army that everything's Primaris size, so a lot of these Terminators have actually got Gravis legs. So, and this Terminator hasn't, but I've actually risen him up a little bit in the middle there, just above his belt line. You can just see that little bit of extra green before the armor. I've added that in just to give him a little more height. So he doesn't look out of place, basically. First off, we've got the normal Deathwing squad. And again, these are just being made with Grey Knight heads and then Terminator back and front bodywork with the front of it is the Knight one. And yeah, the legs are Gravis again. I preferred to go for the Grey Knight helmets because they just look more Knighter looking. Also, I find a lot of people always kick off about the tubes on the legs. Well, I say, what about the tubes on the arms? You know, they actually suit the tubes on the arms. So using these Knight front torsos really does help, having that tabard across the front. And that was the first one I did. The sergeant. next on my, well, Chernobyl or something like that, knights from Forge World. Again, I've raised these guys up and also given them, well, the normal knights weaponry, so it worked pretty well. I did a video on these as well, and well, didn't take much work, to be honest. It's quite straightforward. I think like the hardest part is just basically getting everything to line up correctly, but the legs that actually came off these Forge World Terminators, if you can cut open the bodywork of the underside of the torso of a Primaris Space Marine, a normal one, they pretty much fit nice and snug. The ball for the stomach will fit lovely inside, which I'll show you when I get around to them now. I do like this one. Caliban on the shoe. But yeah, I had to make that helmet especially for this one, so I just used the normal Forge World Dark Angels helmet, the older ones, not the newer Mark 6 ones, and just used one of those helmets. But I've got plenty of uses for those new helmets. Okay, now the Proteus. Well, this is the older version, not the old version, but the resin one that just got, well, basically decommissioned. I think I don't think they sell it anymore, but the plastic one's just been revealed and is due to be pre-order hopefully soon, because I would like another one. But it's a nice little bit of kit, this. Didn't do too much to it, it's more paintwork and whatnot, transfers and everything, so it's, yeah. Now these are my Saturnine tuners. Now this was my own attempt at making a print for myself to upgrade Gravis armor into Saturnine Terminator armor, and I basically made the top, the shoulders, and the back to slot into a Gravis aggressor body. Then used the Tartarus Terminator head and then Terminator arms. And basically, it was my first attempt at making a 3D print. It didn't turn out too bad. I'm not going to be doing it again, but you could tell one or two of them's cracked where, you know, they just messed up. But it actually worked pretty well for the aesthetic of it all. But I wasn't going to just bin them and all the rest of it. I just thought, nah, I'll keep them, because I'm a big fan of Saturnine Terminator armor, so I just, yeah, they were fun to do. Very big learning curve to actually make these from absolute scratch. The amount of time I spent just trying to get on the dot, and because I had the idea in my head, that was it. The amount of scaling I had to do and all the rest of it, trying to get it just right, and to fit a model that was done by GW as well, because I didn't want to do the whole model. I wanted it to be like an upgrade kit, or, you know, just one of those kind of add-ons to it, so I could, like, if I wanted to build another, I could just go out and get the kit rather than try and get every single part perfect each time. But it is a really fun squad. the command squad that I made. Got the heavy weapon bearer. A nice big plasma cannon. Again, it's the tabards again. Grey Knight helmets, can't go wrong. The apothecary with a good old Gravis armor that's been pretty messed up. Then we got my champion, a halberd. This was quite fun. I just thought I'd get him. I had to do the fingers, green stuff, because I couldn't literally find a hand good enough to point. Like, it was just the wrong size. It was like a literal firstborn marine hand, and it's fitting on the Terminator, and the one hand's huge, so I had to make my own. So here is the Ancient that has a banner that's inspired by Jeff Taylor's artwork for White Dwarf 170, and the banner is actually in the background, and I really like the banner, so I had to redesign. I took it on the computer, I redesigned a load of the bottom half of it and just remade it, and yeah, took me quite a while, but got there in the end, and yeah, printed it off and done a bit of work to it, and now it is a monster of a banner. Next is the Deathwind Sergeant, electrifying a Gene Stealer with a good old Thunderhammer. I like this model quite a bit. It is one of my favourite models. It is literally like, even got the wrist mounted bolter melter, combi bolter melter, storm bolter kind of thing, and he is just like rocking that hammer. Very pleased how that one turned out. So now I've got the fire wing. So I've got eliminators, then I've got reavers, then I've got infiltrators, then basically lieutenant reaver armor, and then lieutenant in Phobos armor and captain in Phobos armor. So here's my lieutenant, and he's basically all fired up with his lion pauldron as well. Basically, you made use of salamanders lieutenant for this, or is it captain? I don't think it's chapter master, but yeah, it worked well for the aesthetic of the fire wing. Then I got my librarian, which is rocking the Phobos armor. I actually made this Phobos Lieutenant painting guide on the channel. Got the eliminators. Use texture paint if anyone's wondering on the actual cape. Works wonders if you just use the same one as you do on the base. But also I use the Deathwing Knights hoods that you get with the set for the actual hoods. Other than that, I've got a thing for Mark III armor, so you can see the backpacks have been updated and got a bit of a camouflage over it. See if we can't get a good picture of the face in there. Happy as ever. Now for the infiltrators. Sniper rifle, barrel, and then just a couple of little targeters and stuff like that. They've just been all thingied together to make it look like Spec Ops kind of thing. Mark III parts, you know, Dark Angel's helmet from Forge World. It's a pretty ongoing theme in my army anyway. Even the arms are Mark III. You know, you will find that the arms ain't that bad to use on Primaris. They do work pretty well, even if they're firstborn. These weren't too bad to do. Very simply put. Nice quick scheme these are. The hardest part about doing these was actually the knees, because on every single knee I had to get the Forge World Fire Wing emblem cut around the emblem in the middle, because it's got like this outer circle with spikes on it, and you can't try and get that inner emblem, and then after carving that out you got to try and stick it on the knee. It turned out good in the end. A lot of work cutting out that, but yeah. A horn. Then my Reavers. Now, before the Mark VI got re-released, I made these, and basically it was just studded shoulders, beakies, and then I took a nice flat non-ridged pauldron to do the other side, and then yeah, the beakies are from a mixture of the Dark Angels, Knights, and normal beakies, but I then got a load of cameras, stuck them to the backpacks I used for these ones, and then got a paper clip, 2 paper clips, drilled 2 holes in the top and just stripped the part of the metal off, part of the sheave off the metal, because there's those paper clips with like the rubber on them. Stripped away some of it so the metal was exposed, so the antennas looked a bit more, well, like antennas. Little book. I added sights to the guns as well, to make it look a bit more special ops like. And this is for fire wings, so the fire wing didn't really like the Mark 6 armor, so that's what I was going for with this. Then the storm wing. So we've got Captain's Glow. This guy was made from the White Scars Captain, or White Scars Commander model. Lieutenant maybe. But yeah. Then we've got the 30k Imperial Fist. I made run on another video of mine, because I still think this guy looks far more terrifying running. Very Dead Space Marine with an apothecary. Champion with 2 Corvus hammers. Mephiston, but a Dark Angels Librarian instead. With I am not amused pose. Crossed arms pose. And this guy that likes a bit of fire and heat. Another Librarian. Lieutenant Kenobi. To think that I was actually just going to have him pointing with one finger, now he's pointing like Kenobi with 2 spread fingers and the sword up. Lazarus, but with the full helmet. I wish they had just made the helmet a separate piece so you could put it on him. It didn't take much work, don't get me wrong, but still, it would have been one really nice helmet to. I know someone would, well, I would have bought extra models just for the helmet. This was the Imperium Magazine limited edition model. I made this on this channel as well, even though it kind of looks like alpha areas. So here's my Blade Guard Ancient, with a bit of work with the power sword on the banner there. And next we've got the Raven Guard miniature dual swords. I'm basically using them as a captain for now, firstborn captain, or with a jetpack, mainly because there is no jetpack captains yet. Then I got this one, which is using the legs of one of the Terminator models. I think it was the Terminator Captain from the Death Guard I shown earlier. Forge World Shield, that one, from this Captain. Good old ancient. Green stuff to cape on as well. Took me a while to cut that off the resin model, but it came out a lot better than I thought. And here's my veteran squad. Now, the Carafacti Terminators that I showed you earlier, the Knights, these guys have got the legs off them. And as you can see, because I cut up inside the torsos, they fit really well onto these bodies. Also nicked a couple of swords off them too. Still going with the Mark III aesthetic, you know, and the Forge World heads. That was just a good old heavy bolter. And there's a limited edition Storm Bolter of, I can't remember what model it was, but the big fist is off Tal Regal, I think his name is, or something like that. The Imperial Fist Captain. Next we got my first tactical squad that I made for my this new Force of Dark Angels. Green stuff cape, good old plasma cannon. That's the only problem I found using the shoulder markings for tactical squads, or any squad for that matter. There was not really a good enough place to put the squad number, so I thingied to put them on the knee instead. Still going for company on the knee, like. Unless it's like the fire wing and whatnot, then I've put them on the knee as well. These were a lot of fun. And this was basically using as many knightly looking helmets as I could find in my kit. My bits boxes and stuff like that. Next we got a tactical squad that's running, which were quite fun. These are quite recent, these ones. Basically took the Assault Intercessor kit and merged it with a Mark III kit. Heavy bolter again. I do prefer the Mark III style weapons, and especially it comes with a Horus Heresy weapons in general. I just like the Phobos bolters and the heavy bolter melter guns and whatnot. But for this one I used the Dark Angel one I got. This guy turned out quite alright, like. Next is a jump pack squad. Assault Intercessor bodies again. Just counted them as firstborn jump pack marines. Like the intercessors just out there, just counted as tactical marines rather than intercessors. Good old Eviscerator. You always gotta have one of them. And this dreadnought, well, I made the banner on the computer again. Added some extra bits, made it wider to suit the dreadnought a bit more, and to suit the custom made banner pole I made from. Then it's just a hybrid of Redemptor dreadnought and Leviathan dreadnought. And the funny thing is, I've actually made it in such a fashion that I could actually class it as both. So I can remove the hull mounted guns, and I can actually remove the arm, so I can swap out for a different weapon if need be. And what I do is mount both weapons on the same gun. The giant chainsword is off at night, by the way. Even these come out. And then we could put flamers in there, or Volkite. So it looks like this. Good old flamers with the magnets. You know, Lionel Johnson, a one Raven Wing champion, and my Dreadwing Jump Pack Marine, Lieutenant, Captain, wherever I use them as at the time. I had to buy that Blood Angels model. It was awesome. So I made him slightly bigger with the Primaris legs. Cut the foot, drilled up inside the leg, and it worked a treat. Next is the Champion. I used the Chaplain bike. Give it the plasma talons. Even gave him his own pet raven. But it turned out alright. I was quite very pleased actually. Because I even managed to get the cape on. The robe. And here comes all the chaplains. I do like myself some chaplains. This one used to be Gromaldus, so I gave him a two-handed Crozius. Next we got this guy, who's actually rocking one of the arms of the, what was it? Masters of the Chapter. Used to have that thunder hammer on the shoulder. I just repurposed it as a Crozius. Next is the Judica, or however you pronounce it, you know, Chaplain in training with his egg timer. I went for a bit more of a different look with him. I was going to use something different instead of the egg timer, but I thought, nah, it's cool. Next is the big dreadnought. That, yeah, I don't even know how to start with this. We've got two Gatling cannons on the back at two different sizes of ammunition, so there's that complaint chucked out the window. And yeah, I just tried to make it as daft as I can, to be honest. And again, this is a Redemptor mixed in with parts of Leviathan. The head was actually off a Warhammer Fantasy. I think it's like a troll hand or something was holding a statue or something, and the statue had that head. So, oh yeah, and the hammer head is actually made from rhino doors. I just glued a load of them together, and then yeah. Just to say, I do not take very long with my paint jobs. I got so many to paint that I'm happy with them. So this one, however, this used to be Mr. Calder himself, the Ultramarines. Chapter Master, apparently. Doesn't look like much of a Chapter Master anymore. I really like this model. It really, really gives you that Chaplain feel. Making sure he well and truly is purging the heretic. Scarred helmet as well. Corresponds with a scarred face on the Marine in question. The trick was to raise it up so I could get as much as the armour in there as possible without making the model too tall as well. Trying to get the leg in that position wasn't too bad, but cargo was not. It worked out in the end. But it was quite an odd model to try and repose. Lionel Johnson. In this particular one, I just needed to buy one. And yes, magnetized head and sword, so I can switch out where and if need be. Sword never stays straight though, but easy enough. I made a pin in the one hand. Oh, sorry, a magnet in the one hand, and then I put a metal pin in his right wrist, so the magnet would stick to the pin, and then the ball joint would sit inside the left. There's the magnet. So next is the Iron Wing. So the first off is my Gravis Captain. I'm using the Imperial Fist character, the one that has the big fist that I used on the Veteran Sergeant for that veteran squad. All these Gravis I've given bigger backpacks as well to look like Mark III's a bit more. This guy's shoulders always look puffed up, but it was the only way you could actually make this hands even try and grasp a sword with two hands. This one I didn't mind. There's another Gravis Captain. the Librarian, using the Chief Librarian Tiberius, I think his name is, or someone from the Ultramarines. Instead of having him looking up, he's looking the other way. Another captain, using a bolter from Forge World. And the helmet from the Praetor, I think it was. So, suppressors. I do not like jump bases, the transparent ones. So any models that are on them, I always end up putting them on the base. I don't even like the smoke or fire effects they use. Also to try and give them drum mags as well, which is quite funny. Heavy intercessors. Went for the more veteran look. Little rotisserie, what are they called? Drum mag for the bolt pistol. Good old Raven wing pads, that. Oh yeah, and on these I also used a Terminator chest piece. Connected it all up then inside the cape. But at least then I got the decor on the front of them. Also brought the chests in a bit, because some of the chests really did not look right when I tried to put the cape around them, robes around them. Then we got the, oh gosh, what are they called? Eradicators. Next we got the Eradicators, I think they were called. These melter weapons. And a lot of these Gravis ones, I'm cutting back the hood as well. I find the hood was quite restricting of putting hoods and stuff on. Also the captain, I gave this little extra red tabard on the side to try and make him stand out a little bit more. Not like an honor thing maybe. Right, I think these were called Inceptors. And basically these are hilarious. I took the side jets off and just put normal jetpack marine ones on, so I've got nice big vents in the front. It made more sense to me. Also the helmets, I think were off like, what was it? The Venerable Dreadnought kits? I think, I'm not entirely sure. Again, I made them so they were landed on the floor rather than going through the air. rocket launch, missile launcher, Devastator Squad. I had a couple of extra studs and a little bit of armor in the middle there, just to make them stand out a little different. Also on the backpack, I did add the extra nozzle on the one side, just so it made more sense for the rocket launcher mount. I do like these missile launchers. And then we've got the Sergeant, which has the most antique but futuristic version of measuring ordnance distance, I suppose. And that's from the Age of Sigma, one of the Age of Sigma models. I think it was like a heavy weapon platform of some sort. And here we got my Forgerite or Tech Marine or whatever I'll call him with his servitor buddies. And these servitors were ones from Grimaldus's little retinue. I had a couple of bits hanging around of old like claws and whatnot, so I have used a couple of things up. Quite a bit of the kit I was able to salvage. I think one of these servitors had 1 or 2 extra bits added. But yeah. This guy always makes me laugh. Multi-melter with incense. I can't smell anything of the incense. And then this guy, who I have to add with the arm-mounted heavy bolter. Had to change it up a little bit. I think this was actually the Iron Hands character. So, here's the Daredevil. There's my Daredevil, armed to the teeth. And to be honest, I really like putting this model together. I would like to see it made in plastic, to be honest. I'm not expecting it to, but it was a fun kit to put together. And it's quite versatile. You know, it's like a good old-fashioned weapons platform. My Forge World resin Sakaran, just before the plastic one came out. Yeah, brilliant piece of kit, you know, really fun. Quite heavy for what it was. I was quite surprised. Now comparing it to the plastic version, it's, yeah, but still a good old tank. And quite a few options too. Good turrets. Next is my Gladiator Predator tanks. And yes, I did mean to say both names because as you can see, I've made them tracked and also magnetic. So I can literally remove the weapons entirely, and yeah, I've got quite a selection of guns to put on there. Practically I've made every option for gladiator tanks and also predator tanks, so I can switch from a gladiator to a predator. Like, I'm not going to do this to all my tanks, like I just thought it'd be a bit of a fun project. So it actually, making the predator into a gladiator into a tracked predator kind of hybrid wasn't too bad. It was just a little bit out, so you just a bit of skimming here and there, but it was quite fun, I must admit. I won't be magnetizing like a load of these in the future, because with all this now, I can literally just use the sides and the turret off this if I need to swap out any weapons. But with these two now, that it was a fun little project to see what I could do. So I've got pretty much every option going. I think the only one I might have not done was the Bow Predator, but to be honest, between the Gatling cannon on the what's it called, Gladiator variant, I think it's called the Reaper, I could probably make one up. So even the back pretty much like worked out quite nicely. Front, yeah, I just left it with those teeth at the front. They look quite menacing. And yeah, I didn't just make one, I made two. Lots of parts. However, I didn't stop there. I had to do it to the repulsor. Have you ever noticed that the repulsor, the back door, is meant to take aggressors, and the only way you can get an aggressor out is if the poor person literally was on its back and just slid out? Aggressors are quite, you know, or even just any gravis are quite big. But anyway, this vehicle is all magnetized again. But unlike the others, this doesn't just have parts for the repulsor, this can actually turn into a Land Raider. So I had to again jump on the computer and make myself, well, I made the fancy lights from scratch are on this, and I also made a couple of extras for this tank to also turn into a Land Raider. So the problem I had was trying to mount guns either side because of that slanted door. So I made these abominations. They're not perfect, you know, this was like a test of a test of a test, and I've carved them up since, but that was pretty much the premise I was going with. I made a extra top plate as well to hold the gunner, and also a back turret thing to hold the rocket launcher, Hunter Killer. So that just fits in there. I done all them using that free program on Windows, a 3D maker thing. The worst part was scaling, but yeah, I just put it together just for a quick little project for me. Nothing like, you know, trying to rip off someone's work or anything like that. Just little what's the word? Challenge for myself. And I made this little plate here. So I can stick it on the top one, like so, instead of the turret. And there we go. You know, and I can just pull the sides off, pull the turret off, pull the back off, pull the guns off. Nice, quick and easy. And like, I won't be doing this for every vehicle. Like, I might make a couple of tracked ones here and there, like, don't get me wrong, but it was just a nice little challenge for me. I'm a kitbasher at heart, you know, so stuff like this, always fun. So there we have it. You know, as of this video, me trying to get around to getting it done, I've already made like hell blasters, and I've made a another Gravis Captain, but that was for those both for the Dreadwing. So yeah, a lot of people don't understand why I went for the 6 wings of Hexagrammaton. I really didn't like the whole concept of Gravis being used in Deathwing and all the rest of it. The colours just didn't suit for my liking. And I thought, well, if Lion came back, for example, he's very set in his ways, and one of the things he could have implemented back is the Dreadwing, the Iron Wing and the Storm Wing. And if the Iron Wing came back, for example, well, they were very heavy on their armoured troops, as well as mobile artillery and heavy armour and stuff like that, so they always used to have an abundance of Terminator plates. So I thought, well, if all the Terminator plates now in Deathwing, there'd be nothing stopping them having all the Gravis armour and all them types of things. So all the Gravis plate and everything, I tried to, all the general troops of that type, I tried to go into the Iron Wing. Then on the Dreadwing is everything you would expect, like that would be in the Dreadwing normally, like the Hellblasters and everything. But I also was putting the Knights and the Titans and everything that you would expect to literally wipe out stuff, you know, sanction death to a planet and whatnot. You would literally send down stuff that you would finish everything with. Then the Stormwing is basically troop squads and all the rest of it. You know, the typical units to get the job done. Yeah, you know, tactical marines and whatnot. The Death Wing is the Death Wing. I even made those Saturnine Terminators. You know, it was very heavy on the Terminator word. I haven't even started the Raven Wing, mainly because I wanted to see where I'd go with it. I'm thinking to sit on that for a bit longer. I will be getting a couple of speeders, the newer speeders here and there. I want to see where they go with the bikes, to be honest. As for the Firewing was quite amusing, really. Eliminators. They're very stealthy and sneaky. Phobos armor. I've put Phobos armor types in there. The Reavers work brilliantly for the aesthetic of if you type in search for Dark Angels Firewing and it comes up with a description showing the Mark 6 armor, the beaky Mark 6 armor. That's where the inspiration for my Reavers came from, before the Mark 6 got redone, basically. Then it's just basically, I have got plans for other units for that, but it's just getting around to doing all the projects I'm doing now. Next project, at this very moment, the next project I'm meant to be doing is 3 different Spartan tanks, one for 30k, because at this point I've already done a squad of 10 Space Marines for 30k, and I've also done 2 Praetors. So I'm going to be doing a Spartan for them, then a Spartan for the Death Wing, and also a Spartan for the Storm Wing, because they haven't got any vehicles for transport yet. So I thought, got 3 of them here. I've also got a Leviathan for 30k to chuck together. And I've also got a Contemptor, which I'm very tempted to just put with my... I'm not sure yet, but it might go with my Death Wing. Well, I'll see how that goes, to be honest. But, yeah. So, all in all, the wings are pretty much done. I've got a couple more knights I need to do and whatnot, but this is the army pretty much as I've got now, except for the 2 units, the 1 captain and whatnot. Like, I've got a couple more eliminators I need to slap together, and you know, the odd dreadnought here and there, but I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between projects now. I've got these guys pretty much set in stone now. I've got a lot of ideas off my chest, and now I know where I'm going with it. It's a lot easier. The other day, just getting it all on the table and seeing where I'm at with it all was nice. But yeah, well, this video was asked by quite a few, a bit of inspiration for people, for getting stuck in with some kitbashes, and half the time it's understanding where you want to go with it, but sometimes just putting parts together, blue tack 'em, or anything, like just hold them together, see what it looks like. You know, if you can't visualize it in your head, just, you know, there's nothing wrong with just going on Paint and stuff like that, and copy and paste some pictures into a Paint and just have a laugh, just messing around with the picture. Might give you an idea. You know, I've done all sorts of things like that. When I came to doing the Saturnine Terminators, I literally got a Saturnine Terminator, cut the top off and just stuck it on top of a aggressor, and that was it. You know, the idea was there in my head. You know, I wanted Terminators the size of aggressors anyway, so I was like kind of future-proofing them kind of thing. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, how can I do this? And then I decided, right, I know basically how to use the program to 3D print, so I'll make my own, and that way they're mine. And you know, I don't like using something that someone else has got. Kind of like me with models, you know, I like to make them my own. So yeah, that's enough for me waffling on about my army for however long this video is. So thanks for all the support and everything on here, Twitter, Instagram, and whatnot, and hope you enjoy, and goodbye.